Hey, so here we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And thanks for joining us live. And if you're watching this on the replay, welcome. Please let us know if you can hear us okay as we go through. Thumbs up, a comment, whatever you can, if something you'd like to share about how your day is going. We're here today to speak to, so I'm lucky enough to have join us is Priyadarshana Fraser, one of our amazing 2018 presenters. So welcome, Cam.
Thanks for having me, Jo.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and I say that a lot during the videos, so get used to that right now. So, because I am very excited. It's good to see your face again, especially as well.
Yeah, it's been almost a whole year now, hey?
I know. So yeah, time flies, doesn't it? So before I introduce Cameron properly, I'd just like to mention that there's just a week to go until the early bird tickets and the returning ticket holders special offer finishes. So that's the Friday, the 10th of August. So what that is I've extended a little bit the early bird ticket sales because they sold out, and I had some emails from people and Facebook messages asking about the tickets. So I've extended it for another week, and I added a few more on. So they're selling well. So the returning ticket holders, so that's so people who have been to past festivals, and there was in the past, we called it Sex Camp, but anyone who's been to a Celebrating Sexuality Festival, or when it was called Sex Camp, are entitled to an amazing $258 off a full price ticket. So we really value those people who've been in the past. So if you're not aware of that, jump on the website. That's www.celebratingsexuality, I'll just show that to you now, .com. So you can jump on there and purchase the tickets. So as I said, that's just one more week. And I won't be able to extend that any further. So, and also it's only 3 months to go, which I can't believe. It's just like, woo. So what today is about is helping people to get to know more about the festival, because one of the most common questions, so, if I'm out and about and I'm chatting to someone and they say, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I run this festival called Celebrating Sexuality, and they're like different reactions from different people, but most people will ask what actually happens as celebrating sexuality. And so part of this is bringing these videos to everyone is about actually giving you an opportunity to meet some of the presenters ahead of time. And also, really that's what it's about, is finding out, because the focus of the weekend is the workshops. Although we have also some performances and some dancing and different sort of social activities, that is the main focus. And so this is a good opportunity over the next few weeks for you to meet some of the presenters and ask some questions about the festival, ask them some questions about their workshops, and also generally asking them anything about the work that they do. I am, quite discerning, I would say, when it comes to choosing our presenters. There's a few things that I look for, and they're around their skills and qualifications, and also that they're down to earth and a good sense of humour, and that would certainly describe you. So that's why you're coming. So people have all sorts of ideas of what the festival might be, and so this is your opportunity to ask those burning questions as well. So please place them in the comments below, and then we'll come to them at the end. Or if there's questions afterwards on the replay, then myself or my team, or even if it's directed at Cam, we can tag him in that, and he can come back and answer those as well. So I'd just like to properly introduce you, Cam. So Cameron is
Sure.
a certified sexologist. He's a registered yoga teacher and yoga-based therapist. He a yoga-based sex therapist, I beg your pardon. He's passionate about pleasure-based, all-inclusive sex education, as well as speaking to specific demographics. Cameron believes that a truly holistic approach to sexuality needs to include medically accurate, scientifically validated information, as well as incorporating those spiritual and esoteric teachings. Through this approach to sexuality, he believes that we are better able to create healthy relationships with ourselves, with our community, and with our partners. The workshop he's presenting, I'll ask you to come to introduce, but yeah, first of all, like, officially welcome to our live, and I have to say it's my first Facebook Live with any presenters, so, you know, learning a little bit as we go along about how that works. So thank you for joining me today.
No, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So I want you just to tell us a little bit about the workshops that you're going to be presenting on the weekend. So, you know, what can people expect?
Sure. So I'm doing, I'm presenting 2 different workshops, I suppose. I'm teaching a yoga class in the morning, both mornings, like I did last year. It's yoga, it's called Karma Yoga. Karma coming from the Kama Sutra, meaning desire or affection. And the yoga is really a combination of a bunch of different styles, but it's all about just dropping into your body, really connecting to your breath, connecting to the pelvis and the heart, and just starting to loosen up and preparing for the day. There's a little bit of solo-based work in there, especially with the breathing practices, but then there's also some partner-based activities and some exercises where you get to really connect to your own energy and then learn very briefly and very gently how to share that energy with another person. So it's a really nice way to kick off the day. It was really well received last year, so I'm excited to be teaching that again. So that's the one of the workshops I'm doing, and then the other one is what's called a lingam puja, which is so a lingam is the Sanskrit term for a phallus or a penis, and a puja is the Sanskrit term for a ceremony or a celebration or devotion. So the workshop will look like, essentially there's a couple of elements to it. We're going to be really worshipping and devoting the entire workshop to the penis, to the lingam. And the reason why I chose to do this workshop is just because of I guess the social climate around the male genitalia, and I guess the stigma around it, as well as maybe the not so great connotations as well. So I really wanted to address that and maybe bring some reverence and some sacredness to it as well. So the workshop is obviously open to all people, and you don't need to have a penis to attend. I'm sure you probably know someone with a penis, so you'll definitely learn something through that. It's going to be a combination of education and celebration and some learning a bit about anatomy, physiology, as well as the history and the cultural identity as well of the penis, of the lingam, and also going to be giving a series of exercises to do. So again, solo-based exercises, and then we'll step into a little bit of partner-based exercises as well. It really doesn't, like I said, doesn't have to be a physical penis as well. We're going to be working with energy, so the energetic phallus and the energetic lingam as well. So it's yeah, it's something I'm really excited to bring forth and to kind of teach and commune with people about. So yeah, hopefully people come to that one. That'd be good.
So in terms of, say, learning about the physiology and so on, what's something that people, just give us a sense of what some of the things that people may not, you know, because for a lot of us, our sex education was a very brief glimpse in high school, you know, and it was very much based on the anatomy and physiology. Will you be just presenting as something that we would have seen in school, do you think?
So the idea is to present the information in a way that it's pleasure-based, and obviously with the theme of the festival as well, keeping in line with consensual touch as well. So the idea is to present things that that facilitate our pleasure and that facilitate our partner's pleasure as well, in a consensual way. So yes, you may be aware of some of the some of the scientific names of the genitalia, but the idea is to present it in such a way, or frame it in such a way, that we're learning about it because it's going to increase our pleasure. It's going to allow us to connect with our arousal, with our sexual energy, and bring more pleasure into our interactions with ourselves and with others.
Yeah, because it was totally something that, when I look back on my sex education, I think what was missing was, I always imagine, what if we were taught that sex is for pleasure? And but it's always been was always based on something about a very matter of fact, which is useful. It's good to have that matter of fact information, but it's sort of finished, and the experience was completely different and often left out.
Yeah, I find that and even my sex education as well was really fear-based. It was like, this is what could go wrong. This is what will definitely happen if you, for example, have unprotected intercourse. And it was just, it was just never something that was seen as like a positive thing. It was always like, oh, we have sex to reproduce, and that was like it. Like the whole connotations of it for a long period of time for me were just not pleasure based, not pleasure inclusive. So it's been a really big turning point for me as well. So being able to then provide that information in that context, in that framework of pleasure and consent, is something that I'm really passionate about now.
And something, because in terms of the tantric yoga, like most people have heard of yoga at some point. They probably have these days. It's fairly widespread, known kind of form of exercise, if you like. But what does it make? What makes it tantric?
So the word tantra is a bit of a can be used as a bit of a buzzword sometimes, but essentially, to kind of give a brief definition of the word, it means to weave together, and another definition of it is to expand as well. So when we apply tantric philosophy to yoga, really talking about weaving together, so the physical body, the physical matter, as well as the subtle or energetic body. So I like to use sexual energy in the classes, and when I use sexual energy, like kind of the analogy I give is, say we're kind of working out at a gym or doing something out in public, and someone we find attractive walks past us, we get like this little surge of arousal, this little surge of sexual energy, which gives us this little push forward, or if we're at the gym, maybe to run a little quicker, to lift a little harder or faster. So it's that energy is kind of palpable and tangible, and that's what we're working with as alongside the physical body. So yoga kind of here in the West is really concentrated and focused on the physical aspect of things, but we want to try and incorporate this idea of weaving the physical in together with the energetic, and then expanding those things. So learning how to explore and expand sexual energy, as well as learning how to explore and expand our physical body as well, our physical presence. So that's roughly what the idea of tantric yoga is.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. And I'm also, because we started to touch on a little bit about, what your sort of your background with this work is. So I kind of guess that most people don't, when they're thinking about what do I want to be when I grow up, they don't necessarily think I want to be a sex therapist. So with the work that you're doing now, how, like, just let us briefly, like, what led you to this space of teaching this kind of work and working with people in the way that you do?
It was I'll be as concise and succinct as possible, trying to sum this up, but it was a kind of a journey, a series of things that happened. So I studied psychology. That was my bachelor's degree, and I also double majored in philosophy. So, and I studied this in a very conservative religious part of America, so the Deep South, the Bible Belt of America. And so I saw the psychology of things, specifically the lack of sex education there. So for example, the one sex ed class that I had during that time was called Christian Approaches to Sex Education. And so you can only imagine what that would have been. And so I saw the detrimental effects on people's psyche, on people's psychology there because of that lack of sex education. And at the same time, I was also studying Eastern philosophy, Eastern religions, and their relative openness to sexuality and sexual expression, especially in art and dance and physical movement. So that kind of sparked my interest in this connection between sexuality and psychology. And so I pursued the Eastern side of things for a while. I did my yoga, I studied a bit of Tantra, obviously went to the obligatory trip to India, practiced some Kundalini yoga over there. And so this kind of facilitated my furthering my interest and my desire to really want to understand and unpack and figure out what was happening for me. I was going through my own kind of sexual health issues, sexual concerns. So I really was doing this for myself first and foremost, trying to overcome those things. And then yeah, it just opened up this world of academia as well. Something that I really like is the logic and like the Western understanding of things, so the medically accurate, scientifically validated understanding of why yoga was working for me and why these practices had an effect. So that kind of pushed me into studying sexology, human sexuality, and being able to really find the connection between those two worlds, between the spirituality world and the academia sexology side of things as well. So so now when I teach and when I present, because it's the way that I understood things was where those two worlds overlap, I try and teach both things. I try and teach the education and the sexuality, sexological based side of things, as well as the esoteric and the spiritual and the yogic and the tantric side of things as well, and blend them together, hopefully in a way that's accessible and applicable to people's lives.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, as we've mentioned that you did come last year and presented the tantric yoga, and this year we have been doing a workshop during the day, not just sort of first thing in the morning. Although I did find that a lot more people got up for the morning last year, which was really cool to see. And but you know, so perhaps just share with us something that was memorable for you from the festival last year.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out for me was the community, like the people that were there. Was you know, we to give a little bit of my history going into the festival, my partner and I had been driving around Australia for the last 2 months before we ended up going to Celebrating Sexuality, and you're just driving around in a van and just kind of connecting with, you know, a couple of people here and there, but not really forming too deep a relationship. So to come into that space that was, you know, self-contained and everyone there was like on the same level, it was a really beautiful atmosphere. And like we ended up meeting with people later on in our trip. You know, we went up to the East Coast and met up with people that we met at the festival, when it was just, I still stay in touch with a lot of those people. It was just yeah, it was beautiful vibe. You know, the community for me was a big standout thing. The people that you meet, it was it was just next level.
Yeah, and I hear that quite often, and that's too why we have a lot of people coming back every year. You know, just like I was talking about before, where we've got the returning tickets, you know, tickets for people who've been in the past. So we do have it's you know, usually like a quarter to a half of the people attending on the weekend have been before or know someone who's been before. And so I find that that's something that I really appreciate. And we work to offer something different every year for people, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that are familiar, which that sense of, for a lot of us and on the crew, we've been working together for been doing this for 7 years, and it's a sense of coming home for us as well. We just feel so at home on the weekend. So that's good to hear that that's the same for other people. And is there anything in particular you're looking forward to for this festival? Have you had a chance to check out the other workshops, what's happening? Or
Yeah, I have. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Avalon's workshops last year, so I'm excited to go back and do those. Missed out on Winter's workshops last year, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I haven't seen Winter for a long time. Yeah, and just connecting again. The presenters that are at the festival, I see once a year when I go and do the festival with them. So and obviously being in Perth is a little bit out of the way for them and for me. So just connecting again, I think, is what I'm really looking forward to. Creating that relationship, creating that family and that community.
Yeah, and what would you say to someone who's not sure if it was for them or was maybe sitting on the fence about coming?
The same thing that I would say to anybody who's maybe being a little bit indecisive is, firstly, feel into it. Drop into your body, and if it's not a full yes, then it's a no. But you never know until you try it, and you're going to be in a supportive environment. Nothing's obligatory, nothing's forced upon you. It's really safe, it's really secure, and yeah, if you're on the fence, my encouragement would be to come. But again, it's your decision.
Thank you. So so basically too, I just wanted to let people know you can see Cam's info on the festival website, and that there's also including his contact details. So there's also, like all of our presenters, they'll be available for a follow-up after the session, after the festival rather, if you've got questions about the workshop, something's come up for you and you just have a question, so you can contact them via those details. Cam is also available for one-on-one consultations, and including via Skype. So as you mentioned, he is in Perth, but he can speak to people via Skype as well. He also conducts workshops. I know that you've been to Melbourne a couple of times for workshops. Is there anywhere else that you really want to go? You can put that out there. You don't know who's watching.
Yeah, I'm definitely working on going to Byron and to Brizzy and to Sydney as well. So yeah, wherever really, I don't mind.
Yeah. So presumably you've got a mailing list that people can get in touch with you and follow you. We've got the link coming through as well, where we've got your Facebook link, your Instagram at Karma Wellness Perth, and otherwise, yeah, definitely via our website www.celebratingsexuality.com. Go to the festival workshops, and you'll be able to see all of Cam's info there. So we've got also just thinking about too. So as I was saying, it's like just 3 months to go, which is not long at all. That's going to whiz past. And thank you to Nathan for the comment. Safe space to share, discover, and explore my sexuality. I appreciate that. And there's a few people here that are liking. Thanks, Paula. I appreciate that. And Trish as well. Thank you. Thanks. That's great. And thank you for the love too. So there's a few people watching, which is really cool to know. So we've, as I was saying too, early bird tickets finish on the 10th of August. So that's just over a week away. That's next Friday. And so I encourage you to jump on the website and have a look at the tickets. So included in your tickets, I'd just like to mention as well, so the tickets, you've got a full access. So we've got 27, we've got over 27 workshops this year, as well as all of your meals are included. So we have beautiful food catered for, and we cater for all the different dietary requirements. We've got a beautiful location. How beautiful is the location, Cam? I mean, it's like, yeah, it's quite stunning. It's actually an interesting piece of land that it's never been farmed. It's on the Mornington Peninsula, which is beautiful, and you know we're surrounded by vineyards and heavily farmed areas, but the actual property has not ever been farmed. So it just has a very special quality to it, and with the lake there as well. And last year people were jumping in because it was nice and hot and perfect weather for that. And also, you know, we've got Friday, Saturday and Sunday night. So we've got some comedy performance and rope performance. There's dancing. So there's opportunities there for people to just relax and, you know, just generally just hang out with new friends and old friends. And if camping's not your thing, we've got some indoor accommodation and some glamping as well. So there's that opportunity to choose, you know, how you want to, you know, your accommodation for the weekend. And of course, you know, Cam will be bringing you the tantric yoga on Saturday and Sunday morning, which is a really good way to kind of drop in, as you said, and prepare yourself for the day ahead. So, yeah, so I think that, you know, that I'm going to just wrap this up now, and thank you so much and for joining me today. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in November. So that's the 16th of November. And so earlier on, I'll just say I was going, is it the 16th or the 17th? So I've got so much on my mind right now. But yeah, so it's definitely the 16th of November. So I look forward to seeing you, Cam, and I look forward to seeing all of you there. And yeah, have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay.